Over the past year or so, I have hidden multiple tech and PC related items inside of geocaches around my city. If you're not familiar, geocaching is quite literally treasure hunting, where there are a bunch of hidden caches or boxes hidden around the world, and if you find them, you can open them up and you can take the treasures inside and leave something for someone else.
Hiding tech items in geocaches, Part 4. Today I'm stepping into the PC accessory space and hiding this mousepad. This new geocache was pretty fun to find, but as you can see, inside of it there was only room for the log itself. I had very little luck fitting in the mousepad, so instead I'm using a Ziploc to keep it dry, and then hiding it right alongside the geocache. If you happen to find this hidden treasure, duet this video.
The things you find inside of geocaches are generally little trinket type items like this little action figure that I picked up at a gas station and then happened to use as thermal paste in a PC. Sorry, little guy. And while it's fun to find trinkets, I think it's way more fun to find tech items out in the wild. And so that's what I've been doing. I've hidden everything from sticks of RAM to full-on processors to video games and everything in between. And so today, what I thought would be fun is to take you all on an adventure to go to the geocaches that I've hid stuff in and see if they're still there. And if they're not still there, we can replenish them with some new tech trinkets. Now, the thing about geocaches is because they are out in the wild, we do need to somehow protect our computer components from Mother Nature. But as you've seen in a bunch of my experiments, computer parts are much more resilient than they make out to be.
This CPU has been buried underground for the last month, and today we're going to test it. 31 days ago, I tossed 3 CPUs into my garden bed, and each month I'm going to dig one up and see if it still works. The earth here has gotten pretty tough from the cold, but luckily it hasn't snowed that much yet. And as you can see, CPU has seen better days. But let's give it a bath and properly dry it, and then let's test it. With the CPU installed, it's time for the moment of truth. We see that it spins to life, which is always a good sign. And if we give it a second, we see that Windows loads as normal. So far, we're 1 for 1.
So with that, let's go treasure hunting for a couple geocaches, and maybe we'll bring some processors to replenish the caches in case there's no tech inside of them. All right, let's grab a coat because it's winter outside, and hope we can find the geocaches in all the snow. Now, one thing I like doing to prepare things to be hidden inside of a geocache, especially tech items, is first to write a little note telling people that they can find a video of me hiding it, and then second, put it in some type of baggie so that it can survive the elements. And for anyone wondering out there, these are Intel Pentium processors, so very dated at this point, not expensive, and because of that, they make for a really nice computer tech trinket for someone to find. And with that, our CPU trinkets are ready to survive anything nature throws at them, bearing that a plastic bag can protect them from it. All right, time to go outside. Now, you might be asking, why are we running? And that's because it's faster than walking. Don't worry, I have my CPU baggies right here, and we are closing in on our first geocache.
Now, this clip here is actually footage of me hiding the first tech item inside of this geocache. This was done back in the summer of last year, so it's been a while, and I have not come back to this one specifically to see if this mouse is still here. So hopefully we can re-find this spot and see if it's still there.
All right, we made it to the park, and somewhere in these trees is our first geocache. Now, normally you can use a geocaching app that'll help navigate you to the exact point of the cache. But because I frequent these so often hiding tech, I have since memorized exactly where they all are. Hopefully. You see that rock there that's just a little out of place? Well, if we move that, we can see a geocache, our first hidden treasure of the day. Now, in this geocache, I actually hid a gaming mouse, but since it didn't fit inside of this box, I did just leave it next to it, and, well, it's not there. So there's either a really happy squirrel playing PC out there, or someone took it, which is awesome. But now let's see what else is inside of this cache and see if we can leave behind some tech. The one consistent thing that you should be able to find in every single cache is a log, so you can write down your name to prove that you did in fact find it. And in fact, if we open up this to March 13th of 2020, you can see that Yee, short for Mr. Yeaster. I found this way back then. And now looking inside of the cache, you can see these little trinkets that I was talking about. So you could grab a Lego or a spider ring, and then you can leave something yourself. I really like this cache because it's so large, there's plenty of space, and so I can easily fit in my processor to find a new home. And then the last thing I'll do is document my name so I can remember when I last found it. My hand has lost all feeling. And then one of the most important things to do after you find a geocache is to hide it exactly how you found it. Hopefully no one decides to follow the single set of tracks up to the hidden treasure spot. So now we can head to cache number 2 to hide another CPU. Let's do it. All right, I just discovered the stabilize button on my camera, so hopefully now it's a little less shaky. Anyway, we're getting close to the next cache. In this one, I'm pretty sure I hid some RGB fans. So let's see if those are still there.
Hiding tech items and geocaches, part 3. This one took me a bit to find, but inside of it I found this cool little smiley face that I'm going to keep. And in place of it, I'm going to leave behind these RGB case fans. Fortunately, it's a bit large for the container, so I'm just going to set it next to the geocache and hope someone can find it. If that someone is you, duet this video.
All right, we made it to the next one. I think this one is somewhere inside of this wall, and I never remember exactly where it is, but it's one of those, when you see it, you know it. Did I pass it? Oh, I passed it. Gotta go back. If you guys see it, let me know. Ah, there it is. You see it just kind of sticking out like that? And like I said, in this one, I'm pretty sure I hid some RGB case fans, but again, it was too big for the cache, and so I did just have to set them next to it. But I don't see it inside of this cave here, which means hopefully it's happily running inside of someone's new computer. And opening up this geocache reveals, look at this, someone wrote a whole entire little book. What? Now, that is awesome. Drawings and everything. That story looks to be the highlight, as you can see some other small trinkets in here. And like the last cache, let's add our CPU into the mix. This really is modern treasure hunting. If you guys haven't geocached, I highly recommend it. Just hide that guy right back in there and cover it up with a rock. And actually, I am gonna cover it a little bit more than it was when I found it. Just because I thought it was maybe a little too obvious. There we go. Perfect. Now we can make our way to the next cache and see if there's any tech inside of that one. Ooh, well, we can do some pull-ups first. Nice, all right. With that, we have one more geocache to check to see if there's any tech left inside of it. So let's head there now and check it out. All right, this last one took me so long to find the first time I came here. Mainly because this one is tiny in comparison to the last 2 geocaches we found.
What a nice day to hide tech inside of a geocache. This one in particular took me 45 minutes to find, thanks to it being magnetic. But persistence paid off, and inside of this small container, I was able to perfectly fit this CPU. Look at that. Sometimes things just work out. If you happen to find this processor, duet this video.
I don't want to give this one completely away, but I will pull it out of its hiding spot to show you guys. So this is the entire cache. It's smaller than my hand. And if we pry it open, we can reveal the log inside of it. Now this one is so small, I could only fit a CPU the last time I came and hit it, and it is still here. Oh man, no one's found it yet. There's definitely no way that I could fit my other CPU inside of here, so I am probably just gonna put this back together and wait for the next lucky person to come find it. And to be fair, this was the one that I hid most recently. So if you do happen to come and find this, send me a picture on Twitter or on Instagram, and I'll congratulate you. So I'm gonna re-hide this cache where I found it, and then we're just gonna take home our lone CPU. Additionally, I have hid tech items in geocaches in multiple cities across the United States, but to save my legs from running that far today, I will just show you where this next one is. Hiding tech items in geocaches. This time, let's mix things up and go on a bit of an adventure. I have this small tube of thermal paste, but instead of hiding it in my normal geocaches, let's take it to a completely different city. Hello, sunny Los Angeles. This geocache was a pretty quick find, aside from the 4-hour flight. And inside of it were just a couple of trinkets, so it looks like there's plenty of room for our thermal paste and this Mr. Easter sticker. If you happen to find this geocache, duet this video. And with that, my job here is done. Time to fly back home. And with that, I hope you had as much fun as I did going around to these geocaches, checking to see if the tech that we hid inside of it was still there, and if not, hiding some more tech. But before I go, if you do happen to want to support the channel even further, you can head over to MrYeaster.com to pick up some Mr. Yeaster merchandise. I have t-shirts and sweatshirts and water bottles there, and every purchase helps support the channel even further. So with that, I am on my way home with our lone CPU that we couldn't find a place for. But that's okay, 2 out of 3 ain't too bad. And if you enjoyed, feel free to like and subscribe to follow along for more tech tinkering. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you.